Hello, it's Miss Heather, piano and voice teacher here at Conservatory of the Ozarks with
Cinda.
So we're going to talk a little bit about wrist pain today for when you're playing the piano. So I don't know if you can see, but right here I have this lump. It's not as bad on this side. This used to look like this on me. I've noticed with, it's like right there. It doesn't really show up. To me, I see it so clearly right here. I can tell the difference because of bracelets that I used to wear that used to come right down here, and now they stop here.
Okay.
So bad things can happen if you have wrist problems. So these are some stretches that I've found and tried that have been helping. So you can do this, keep your elbows out, and then slide down, slide up. This is actually supposed to help with carpal tunnel, which I think I have tendonitis, but it hasn't been ever diagnosed. I don't think I have carpal tunnel, just from self-diagnosis. But even if this is supposed to help carpal tunnel and you don't have it, I still think it's really nice. I feel the stretch here, and sometimes I kind of like lean into the sides a little bit because that's where I really feel the stretch.
It's a good stretch.
Yeah, and then you can turn it upside down, do the same thing. This one's harder for me to keep it should be like this, you know. It's harder for me to do.
I feel that in my elbow.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I just feel it on the sides of my arm and up to here myself, but so those are good. Then we have this. So we have the proximal joint and the distal joint for all four of our fingers on both hands. This is closer proximity to our body, and this is more distant, so that's how you can remember proximal joint, distal joint. So we want both the distal and the proximal joint to be curved, not caved in, curved, and then also the thumb, so it's as much of a circle as possible. And then we want all the other joints on all three of the other fingers that you're not making round to be as straight as possible. And I think of pushing these away. So we're trying to make as big, yeah.
Oh.
Now today is a pretty good day for me actually, but when I first started doing this, my hands would be like shaking. And I have noticed significant improvement in my ability to do them. Although I'm stretching my fingers as far back as I can right now, and that's as much as I can do. I can move it farther back. So
It's a good stretch.
it really is. I feel it down here, and then you just move on to each of the other fingers. This one, I can almost never keep my distal joint straight. Really hard for me. See that? That's as straight as I can.
I feel like
get it.
I'm like doing like rap song, like yeah, girl,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's so interesting to me to see.
I can feel it here.
Yeah.
Oh.
To see different people try it, because weirdly for some people it's really easy and for others it's not easy. Even for myself, some days it's easier and some days it's harder. Stretching up and away and keeping this curved. This finger won't for me. Yours is better than mine. And then pinky.
You realize like how there's certain things that stretches that really activate parts of your body that you wouldn't even think about. Like this is, I'm feeling stretches that my fingers that I would never feel.
I know. I was like, wow, I have things going on in there I didn't even know existed. Okay, so that's one. And here's another one. You just same up and away like you're doing the splits with your fingers. So put this down as far as you can and put this up as far as you can. It should feel like a pretty intense stretch.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then switch to the next one.
Oh.
And stay focused so that the fingers on both sides are pulling up and away.
Oh, that's really hard.
Oh yeah, I know. And then this one.
Oh, that's really, oh my God, that's really hard. It's a good stretch though.
Yeah. I think the other one is harder than this one.
Oh.
It looks like you're not doing anything, but it's hard. And then,
that one's kind of easy.
yeah, that one's easier. And then, let's see. I don't know if I can get, if I bend this down a little bit. So, you can use the piano bench. That's what I use because it's always there when you're practicing piano. Before you practice, if you want, you can use this chair or table or something. So you can put your palms down with your wrists towards you, and just spread out your fingers, and then we lean forward. So the elbows should stay straight. So
I don't want to get in your way though if I do.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
You can watch your own self too. I feel this stretch in my wrist and then up my arm. I really feel it on both sides of my arm. And then you can flip. So your hands, instead of on the palms, you put your back of your hands down. And then still elbows bent. And so now we're kind of pulling away.
Oh.
So it's like you're stretching. I feel this on the top of my arm. You could do it with your hands like this too if you wanted to, but the piano bench allows you to do both at the same time. So it's kind of like the farther you can bend this way, the better. You can feel the stretch. This one feels awesome. So both of these, we had this. So then you just can do the opposite. So instead of fingers pointing away, we can put palms down with fingers pointing towards. And lean back a little bit. And I really feel this on the inside of my forearm. I wish I'd been good about doing these my whole life.
Yeah.
Always before playing. But, like when you're young, although I did start getting wrist pain when I was young, but I don't know, it's like I just need to practice, and then you just go ahead and do it. And then same, so instead of putting the palms up with the fingers pointing towards, we can put them pointing away. Palms down. So basically, you just have 4 options for this stretch. Fingers towards, fingers away, or palm up or palm down. So you just do all 4 ways that you can do with them, if that makes sense.
That feels good.
And then I'll usually do also like a few of these. Like it's like an ankle roll, but with your wrists. And then you can also just make a fist as tight as you can, stretch open as wide as you can, really like flex them out, clench and open, clench and open. And I've also been doing some of these like arm ones that really I think of these as being more like singing stretches. But so I pull, you want your elbow straight and you're pulling this way as much as you can, and it adds, if you kind of take the opposite hip and kind of push that in the opposite direction, so you're really twisting.
This feels very yoga-ish. Like I did something like this in yoga.
Yeah, I do. I watch a lot of yoga tutorials and I swipe some of their stretches for my students.
Oh, I
and
can
myself.
actually. I can do it with the shoulder.
Oh, good for you! Hooray!
I mean, it's a little sore, but I can do it.
Good. That's great news. And the singing stretches we've done for your neck and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously your arms are all connected. We always talk about for voice that your whole body is your instrument, but really your body is your instrument for every instrument. You just notice it a lot more for voice. But anyways, I've done those exercises and I don't know, my wrist does seem a little bit arbitrary as far as when it hurts and when it doesn't. But I do think, I noticed if I do those stretches, it seems like the bump gets a little smaller or hurts a little bit less sometimes. That, and of course you can wear the wrist braces and you can ice your wrist or soak your wrist. You can fill your sink with warm water and soak your hands for a while to help soften up the muscles. So those are all just some different things to experiment with before you play. And if you ever feel wrist pain when you're practicing, you should immediately stop. Wrist pain isn't like, oh, that's fine, I just need to push through it. It's a big red flag that something is wrong and you should stop immediately, or you will. It's the kind of pain that is a sign of damage, not like muscle pain from running where it's like, this just means I'm getting stronger. It's not that kind of pain.
Yep.
So you definitely want to stop as soon as possible. And usually it's because of something going wrong with these joints, that they're not staying curved. That one might be caving in or the other, or your wrist might be drooping. So if you can keep everything like this while you play, it should help. But of course, you should go see a physical therapist to be sure. I don't actually know what the problem would be on the inside, just my best guesses for help.